Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Christopher.
Hi, Rachel.
This is one, Christopher, this is an outfit that we have been, so thinking back, hearkening back to when we first started the samples, when we first got in the samples, when we were thinking about the historical subscription. For me, and I know for you, when it came to mind, like the top 3 outfits of the whole season, the ones that were our most favorite, this is one.
This is the one. I mean, I don't want to say that like I don't pick favorites of my children, but this was one that I knew from jump was going to be really special, and I had been really on the edge of my seat waiting for this to come out for the last 7-8 months. Long time. And I don't know. I've said in a number of videos now that like we're leading up to one of my favorites, and this really like ta-da, like we've arrived.
It's here.
This one really, it knocked my socks off, and I love that it's both, I don't know, we'll get into the details, but like the fabric and the way that it lays and the way that it flows and the print and the color and the shape and everything is really phenomenal. It's everything that I would hope for from a sort of like, if I were to be just gifted a doll, you know, and like someone didn't know anything about me, I think this would appeal to someone that is, you know, maybe you don't know on sort of a wide general sense, but like it's so beautiful that like everyone's guaranteed to love it. You're a doll collector for a reason. You want fashion, you want pretty, you want bouffant, you want excessive, and I think this gives you everything you could possibly ask for.
I think so too. This, even if you weren't a doll collector or you decided, hey, I'm going to have several pieces of art and one of them's going to be a doll, if it was this doll in this dress, it's all you need.
Right.
You don't need anything else. You can stop right here. This is it. This is Baroque in blue, and we're going to put some of the pictures on the screen that Christopher took and Dee in Brazil edited. And there's so much to say about this dress. I am so proud of this dress. First of all, Ruby Red Galleria manufactured this dress. None of this would be possible without our wonderful and talented factory at Ruby Red Galleria.
Yeah. I mean, everything up to this point has been Ruby for this season.
For this historical.
And I don't know that it actually could have been accomplished with anyone else.
No, I wanted to take a big shot on this, and I knew it had to be Ruby Red.
Yeah.
Our factory does a phenomenal job, they do, but Ruby Red has been in the industry for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
They're sample makers. They get it.
Yeah.
We don't have to, how it's so rare that we have to even make an edit.
I think we've made a single edit for the entire season so far, and it was about the size of a ribbon. And that was, you know, like, it was very minimal.
Right, so they sent us this and we approved it.
Yeah.
And that is such a treat for us. Again, our factory does a phenomenal job. We work with several factories, actually, that do phenomenal work. But Ruby Red Galleria, you deserve all your flowers. And thank you so much for Baroque in blue.
All your flowers.
All your flowers.
Yeah, and then some.
And then some. So Baroque in blue is so wonderful. Now, this has references to, we're going to talk about it a little bit, and you can read it in the cover letter as well, but to late 1700s Italian gowns. But this could be taken from all sorts of geography of the late 1700s. So when I sent this to our friend Marcia, actually, who made some shoes for us, she immediately attributed it to an Italian gown, but that's not what I thought of at first when I saw it. But there's so many wonderful ways that you can wear this and that Grace can do her thing. But I'll let Christopher talk about it as far as the fit, and let's show. We're gonna have to show them and show them the wonderful way that you can wear this a couple of ways. So
well, if you'd like, we have
very exciting.
Fresh out of box, we've got the garment here. This is a vision. I could talk about it all day, but the way that like this is sort of similar to our point from last month, from April, when we were initially talking about like historic things for her and whether or not that would be strange on her frame and feel bulky or overbearing. This is enormous, and I think it is so wonderfully fitting on her. And actually, even the way that the bodice is constructed allows it to fit sort of the way that you might see somebody depicted in a painting from 1780. And the reference to like the robe à l'anglaise and the robe à la française, like we have sort of a generic European inspiration in this, and the waist ties specifically on the sides that allow it to sort of cinch up into
panniers.
Yes, thank you. It really, it's again, I won't be a broken record,
we're
but
not gonna sit here and be speechless about it because our job is to talk about this. But this did render me speechless.
Right.
And one of the things that is so important about this dress is that it paves the way for bigger dresses. So, right? Because we did
this
this
one
we
walks
can
so the
even
next
go
one's
bigger.
run.
Yeah. This dress, that's a Lady Gaga quote, isn't it? She said it once. But yeah, this one walked so the next dress can run. But we actually have an approved dress that's even bigger than this one.
I was gonna say, with it maybe getting ahead of myself, but this entire time, this really was sort of the destination for me. I know that we have other pieces after this month. The subscription does not end here, of course, but the whole time I was like, well, I do love what's coming after this, sincerely and wholeheartedly, but truly, like, I don't know, for me, if something's gonna top this. And we recently...
we haven't topped it, but...
Well, not yet. We recently put out, we got a sample back of something that somehow outdoes this. So wait for it. I think what we're going to be doing for Grace for the, thank you, for the, coming future is probably an extension of this season.
Right.
We won't necessarily be ending when we were planning to,
No.
which is wonderful. Everyone's given us really positive feedback about the collection and about the pieces and about the idea, and so we're hoping to stretch it. Therefore, there is something else coming down the pipeline soon that this somehow still is, it outshines maybe even a little bit.
And when we say that, we don't mean that in this one's better than that or whatever, because I am so proud and the quality is so good on every single box we have ever put out since the very beginning. So since the very first Grace box, I stand behind every single one of those boxes for what is inside them, for the spirit of the box, for why the world needed what we put inside of it. So
it's an evolution.
For this season, it's an evolution, but I don't want to also pigeonhole us to where we put that pressure on ourselves where we have to keep outdoing, but I want us to keep, as a company and as collectors, to keep evolving. And one of the biggest things about collecting is actually collecting and getting the stuff. And sometimes I don't think that's talked about enough, where it's like, it's okay to just want more stuff.
Sure, right. To our previous point about, you can stop here. You can, but I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't mean that. And so we are going to be extending the historical subscription, and we are going to be including different time frames that are not included in this subscription. So we're looking at the Regency era. We're going to be looking at, I would really love to do something, as long as it's pretty, going back further even.
To do like the Renaissance period would be amazing. I mean, there's so many eras of fashion to visit. As we've been discussing, so much of what this is, to use your language, is also reimagining those periods. And so if we can bring a sort of new whimsical life to something that maybe otherwise isn't especially pretty, if we can make that beautiful and pay an homage to an era of fashion that doesn't really happen with dolls, then we get to do that. That's such an enormous fun privilege.
Right.
So we're extending the season. There is more coming.
There is more coming. We have several months already approved. And to be completely transparent about the reason is we have a gentleman caller for Grace, and he is coming, but the tariffs and all that stuff has really thrown a wrench in getting our dolls here. It has delayed some things, it has done some things, and so we are pivoting, and so this has been so incredibly fun and so rewarding, and the customers have loved it so much that we're adding more pieces. And so it's going to be such a blast.
I'm thrilled.
I'm thrilled too. So let's talk about the outfit. So this is Baroque in blue. She comes with this wonderful choker.
4 pieces.
Which is so beautifully made.
That might be my favorite part, frankly.
Really?
Truly. I love the detail that
It's so beautifully made.
It's gorgeous. And when you sort of draw attention to the neck that way, I think jewelry can do that sometimes, or earrings can do that sometimes, but I love a little neck moment. I love a neck accessory, and something like a neckerchief or a collar, like a floating Peter Pan collar, I just love. And so something like this that really draws attention to the silhouette and still shows off her collarbone and shows off the structure of the dress. It's so beautiful to me. I think this element really is the
it's very special.
cherry on top for me.
This choker is just so special. And again, when we get these historical outfits, because they have so many pieces and they are so well made, they don't come with a lot of the trinkets that typically used to come with the boxes, but I know you don't care, because this, just again, you're getting another crinoline, just again, the crinoline of this size and shape would be $15. Just in the crinoline.
For sure.
It is a wonderful crinoline. You can reuse them for a lot of things, but I know a lot of you are collecting more Grace dolls or dolls with the RTB 101, RTB 102, even Elowen dolls, and different fashion dolls are fitting these garments because of the structure.
Right.
So you're displaying them all. You're not putting the outfit away. But
sure, which is always my hope.
Yeah.
You know, if you can get a whole library to look at at once, that's the idea. And now that you have as many crinolines, maybe if you aren't displaying a whole library at one time, if you would like, you could stack crinolines, you know, and have like a really big gown. I don't know if anyone's tried it yet, but as if we need more volume, I say, you know, the higher the heaven, something
yes,
about, you know.
The higher the crinoline, you know.
Yeah.
We like that, but you should try that. So out of box, this does need pressing. It doesn't look like this when you pull it out.
It's not that you can't wear it this way. You would just make me sad.
It deserves, and if you don't, see, look how it's still so beautiful, just fresh out of box. But honestly, if you do a little steam or a little press, it's going to look like this.
Right, because the fabric, it actually is, it's done in such a way that it keeps a stiffness in it very deliberately, so that you get sort of like what almost appears to be the way that silk can kind of crunch in a really sort of decadent way. I think you get that appearance with this fabric. It's really beautiful. And to maybe fully appreciate that element of it, you won't see it maybe as much if you're not giving it some time with an iron. But it's gorgeous. The color is so beautiful.
It's custom printed, Ruby Red Galleria, and our factory a lot as well. Custom prints the fabric. They can't just go to the fabric factory and just find a print that's just so beautiful and in scale and looks exactly like what we asked for.
The scale is always hard.
Yeah, scale's tough.
We can often find and sort of finagle print, but having the ability to custom print it is so wonderful. And I often sort of complain about blue. I've said before it's not really my favorite color, but this is so breathtaking. There's nothing more that I mean it. There's nothing more I could possibly want from this dress.
I think baby blue is such a beautiful color. I especially like it on me. When I wore that teddy bear sweater the other day that was light blue and had the teddy bear on it, I received so many compliments, and I thought, you know what? It's because that color looks really good on me.
Yeah,
blue
with
have our colors that look good on, and this is just beyond.
Yeah. So the top dress, I guess the dress, I suppose, with the bodice, is an overskirt over the other one. And you've got the waist ties under here with a hook and eye that will give you the volume we've got. And then you've got all of these working buttons that are actually quite easy. A really good little functional button and a loop. Those just pop right on. And then a beautiful corseted back there, with the lace going all the way up. It actually comes already tied, so you're squared away. There's no real preparation beside ironing, and I don't suppose you have to, but it would just, the difference is so
But I want to show everybody. So this is what it looks like without the sides pulled up.
Yes.
And then you can also pull up the sides to give it two different looks. You can wear this two different ways. It's a very historical thing.
It's wonderful, and the shoes are great.
The shoes are great. So actually, let's go ahead and bring in our friend, Marcia Friend from Facets Boutique, who made us some really wonderful custom court shoes. Now, we do a good job with our shoes, and I'm proud of the shoes we have made, but once in a while, I like to just pull in the expert, right?
Sure.
And get some wonderful shoes. And so when all this was happening, I just didn't have the capacity to do the research and everything. And our wonderful Marcia, she knew exactly what to do. And she also filmed a video telling you all about it. So come on in, Marcia, and show us the shoes.
Hi, it's Marcia Friend of Facets Boutique, and I'm here to present the shoes that I designed for Grace's journey through time in May. These shoes are inspired by court shoes from the mid-18th century, and they accompany Grace's spring Italian gown. The heels feature an inverted curve, which was popularized by Louis XIV. He was on the shorter side, so he wanted the heels to make him look taller. The Louis heels have a curved waist, and there's a flare at the bottom. Men's heels in France were a symbol of status and aristocracy, but they fell out of favor with the French Revolution. Madame de Pompadour made higher Louis heels fashionable for women in the mid-18th century, and in nearly all of her portraits she shows her shoes. The Louis heel actually remained in fashion well into the 1930s, which was a really long run. I was asked by Rachel to create these shoes in colors to go with the blue and pink floral of Grace's dress. The court shoes originally fastened with laces, but later had buckles which showed off status. But I wanted to do something a little airier than the buckle, so I chose festive organza bows in light blue to go with the shoe, or light pink to accent the colors of the dress. They all feature the VDC logo. So enjoy the spring weather and this romantic court dress. It's perfect for a stroll in the garden.
Thank you so much, Marcia. You do a wonderful job. We're looking forward to actually seeing you in October.
Yeah.
Marcia will be there, which will be a lot of fun. So Marcia at Facets Boutique does a great job. She has a lot of wonderful shoes for all of your fashion dolls, so make sure to check that out. We have a link in the video. The shoes are add-ons, so they are not included in the box. So let's make sure that everyone knows that. The shoes are add-ons, and there are 2 different colors, as Marcia said. I think they're great.
These are some, Marcia never lets me down.
No.
Like we have some wonderful shoes that Marcia's made over the years, and they're always some of my favorites. As she describes, you know, the shape of the heel and the choice for the ribbon is just really, it's lovely.
Wonderful job.
She's so mindful when she's, you know,
Yep.
designing. And I love these little shoes. They're so cute.
Marcia designed the shoes for next month as well. So, and for one other outfit in this season. So
Yep.
she does a wonderful job. Such high quality. These are made at her factory with our logo. And Marcia really helped me a lot in the beginning. She did all of the shoes for season 1, and she's been a good pal. So thank you very much, Marcia. These are wonderful. You can get these after the video at 11 o'clock our time. Google whatever it is your time, and they will be in the boutique for sale with a surprise add-on dress for Grace. So, well, let's talk about our wonderful artwork by Diana Vining for this
Yes.
box, and then the story and everything. But let's go ahead and chat some of the artwork. So Diana Vining, again, did a wonderful job.
As always.
Look at this stained glass window that she illustrated Grace in front of reading her book.
This one's probably my favorite one.
This one?
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. How could it not be? I mean, the detail that she shows off with, again, the neck and the back.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
A great job.
Yep. Diana never disappoints. She does a wonderful job. Our paper doll of the month has beautiful, are those blue jays? Beautiful bluebirds. And they're holding a sign that says welcome friends. It feels kind of Cinderella-ish, doesn't it?
I think the undergarments do, sure. I mean, also
Very
with
sweet.
with the, you know, the critters and the,
Yes,
you know, in
that's
the
what I
garden.
mean.
Yeah.
Diana did research to find undergarments that were appropriate for this gown, so thank you very much, Diana, for all of your extra hard work to do that.
Great
and
job.
she added a strawberry shortcake little sundae and a feather fan.
Yeah, the fan is
Oh,
great.
and the bunny.
Yeah.
Look at that mischievous little bunny. Look at his little facial expression.
Yeah, I love that.
This is where Diana Vining, she just is so funny, don't
yeah.
you think?
She's got a great eye for detail.
Yeah, but she's got a great sense of humor.
That's true. Yeah. She, in person, her and I
Yeah.
just crack each other up.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just, like, on the way to and from events or whatever, I have found that I really hit it off with her. And she's got a very sharp sense of humor.
Oh, yes. Diana's wonderful. We're very much looking forward to seeing Diana at UFDC. and
So
then
soon.
again
That'll
in
be
October.
around the corner.
I know. It's coming up in just a matter of like 8 weeks or something.
Ugh.
It's coming up really fast.
Ow.
So Diana, again, did several illustrations of our wonderful Grace in her Baroque and blue ensemble, which
Mm-hmm.
again is just so stunning.
Beautiful depiction of Grace in this one. Her face is gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Love this.
We hope you are just screaming out there about all of this because it is just all so wonderful. Let's talk about there it is, the 18th century sewing box. So this is a wonderful piece that Diana Vining did. This is going to come in scale on a cardboard piece of paper, but this is an 18th century sewing box, so you can cut and fold the box and then insert the tool tray. Look how cool that is.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, she did a great job.
And so Grace can hold that. And when you take the time to actually cut these things out, they are incredibly real.
I've used this for like every set since it was put out. They function as, you know, a part of your collection, as a part of your
Absolutely.
wardrobe. Her pieces are wonderful accessories.
You can download all of these wonderful things in the Grace member area on the Grace member site. So you can download all of these things, but this is going to come in your box on cardstock so that you can do that. But she did a wonderful job. And then there's use Grace's crotch stitch design to decorate a vignette or post Grace working diligently on this lovely piece.
That's great.
Isn't that great? Sometimes I think about what life would have been like for women like that, where that's what they did in the afternoon is drank tea and did cross stitch.
I mean, if it was that simple, it would be lovely. We know that it wasn't that simple.
No, we know.
But,
yeah, absolutely.
It
But
was,
we can pretend.
you know, reimagining that it would be something, you know.
Just relaxing.
Sure.
But
yeah,
that's what
low
we want.
stakes.
So the world around us can be very chaotic. In fact, it is right now, some days. And so when we can just immerse ourselves and have this be our job, and when you receive your box, your job is to just have fun.
Yeah. The ceremony that so many of you have in taking the time to open the mail and make a cup of tea and, you know, put on a video or whatever it is and like really enjoy that moment is so precious to me. And I really admire that sort of dedication to your joy and to your peace and to your experience, and like being a part of that or maybe even facilitating that in some way is just like such a tremendous honor and thrill. Really, you know, lean into this one too, as always. It's a fun one.
Treat yourself. Let yourself just have fun with it. That's the whole thing about a subscription box and something like this. This feeds your hunger as a collector to be getting something every month. We need our things. We need to be We need to be constantly getting a fix and buying a new thing. That let's just call a spade a spade.
Sure.
Right? Everybody
I try to be
understands.
better than that.
Even Paul understands that, right, Paul?
Yeah.
So we need to be getting our stuff. And this is a way to treat yourself. And you deserve it. You deserve it. So we're going to chat about real quick. We're going to get to Tamara's wonderful pattern of the month. But when you open your box, there's a letter from me. So it says, inside you'll find Baroque and blue, a regal romantic look that nods to the graceful silhouettes of the late 18th century when gowns like a robe à l'anglaise reigned supreme. The style is distinguished by its fitted bodice, full skirt, and graceful back lacing, which allowed the wearer to adjust the gown for comfort and shape. Our version for Grace adds a fresh twist, blooming in pastel blue floral print evocative of porcelain china and spring gardens in full bloom. So this one, and there's more to say, but we said, as always, thank you for being on this journey with us. We treasure your enthusiasm, your creativity, and your sense of community that this subscription has sparked. Your love of Grace helps keep her stories and her wardrobe growing in beautiful and unexpected ways. So thank you so much. Now, speaking of, our wonderful Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude did a fabulous historical pattern. Christopher, what do you think of the pattern?
It's beautiful. It's a wonderful companion piece for this. They are just wonderful together, and it's appropriate for the period, and it's feminine, and it's springy, and it's classic. It's a classic, beautiful garment from Tamara. She never goes wrong.
She always hits the mark. She really does. She did such a wonderful job, and I love the floral theme that's happening this month. This month for Ella when we had a floral outfit. But come on in, Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude, and tell us all about your pattern.
The Grace subscription has definitely been keeping me busy. Through this year, we've traveled with her back in time from the countryside to the seaside. I've shared with you in the past that my design inspiration often comes from specific fabric or even the theme of the monthly box. When Rachel shared with me the outfit in this month's box, I was instantly inspired to recreate it and even share its name. The Secret Garden pattern includes a voluminous floor-length skirt with waistband and snapback closure, and a beautiful fully lined floral overdress with a slight puff to the sleeve and small flounce at the wrist with a delicate row of lace trim, decorative front buttons at the closure, as well as a coordinating neck choker. Anytime you combine floral fabric with lace, I always think it makes a really beautiful silhouette, and I hope you find that to be true of this month's Secret Garden pattern. It has been so much fun going on this travel adventure with you and Grace. I hope you enjoy this month's pattern, and I can't wait to see what you make.
Thank you so much, Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude. Secret Garden is so wonderful. Christopher, do you have memories of or reading The Secret Garden?
I actually never did. My best friend read it and loved it, and I was at the time I was enthralled with all whatever they are 13 volumes of The Wizard of Oz to divert my attention to anything else. But I remember her being really captivated by the story and telling me about it, and it was actually almost more fun to hear about it from her as someone who was really enraptured by the, the imagination that was brought out by the book and her love of it. But I never did get around to reading it. Did you?
I saw the movie or some kind of adaptation of it for a child, or maybe I did. I have memories of reading it and being very, very, thought it was so cool to have, and of course I love like magic and to get a key and go through the door, and then there's this beautiful garden that it takes you into. And so if you want to create that for Grace,
right,
this is it, or Tamara's wonderful pattern, that's it. So Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude does a wonderful job. She has been working so very hard for us. Her pattern is available on FletcherPatternCompany.com, which is her website, or if you're a member of the subscription, it is on the Grace member site. So thank you so much, Tamara. I love it. So we are amassing a wonderful collection. We are amassing a wonderful catalog of patterns. We are also amassing some wonderful chapters of our book, A Journey Through Time. So Christopher,
yes, we are.
let's chat about the story of the month. This is written completely by Christopher.
That is
Sometimes
true.
it gets a little carried away at work, but
I do try. I try to reel it in. It's fun to be sort of spearheading this, and this will come on, one front and back sheet when you get it.
they keep getting longer though.
Well, this one, believe it or not, this one actually is shorter than the last. You wouldn't know it, but not by much. We actually, when I was writing April, that turned out to be 3 standard pages that we had to shrink down really small. So this is marginally shorter, but anyway, I like a detail. I want to bring you into the space, I think I will give you a little tease of...
Well, she does start out in the modern dress, right?
We sort of discover the modern dress first, yeah.
Okay.
But
Christopher is very, very talented, okay? So
thank you.
Truly, because also our film set, which we'll talk about too, because there's a maple, but to do the film set and writing and all of the wonderful things, you are a very creative person. And so to be able to use that creativity in your job is, I'm sure, a very nice release.
Oh, I'm very grateful. I have sort of, as an aside, I've always found myself sort of determined to find or keep jobs that allow me to exercise that creative juice, and that I really struggle in sort of utilitarian settings. It's necessary for me to be creative. And so I'm thrilled that I can work out so many of those juices here. And it is very rewarding. Let me give you a glimpse of what we're doing with the story here. So about halfway through, we've got, she scurried over to a nearby pond, bracing for her own transformation, naively unprepared for what she'd find. Her reflection took her breath away. Bluer than the pond itself, Grace was a cloudless spring day, clad in tip-to-toe in soft sky blue and cheerful blossoms. Roses and vibrant peaches and corals cascaded all the way down her gorgeous robe à l'anglaise style gown, with a skirt that pulled into swag ties with ribbons at the sides. Her sleeves, trimmed in pretty lace, made her hands feel delicate, and she held them out at her sides, stooping just a bit before giving a twirl of glee. "I look just like a painting," she cried. The tremendous silhouette of her gown rippled in the pond's shimmering surface, captivating the time traveler, who felt like a girl. So you can read all the rest of that, but it's so much fun to try to maybe bring a very specific, vibrant version of this to life for collectors.
Yeah.
And I'm very inspired by the way that collectors actually make their own vignettes, and they sort of are so imaginative and so creative with what you're staging. So some of that also inspires what I try to do and what I think is possible, and stretching that and really, making it come to life on paper. So if you don't, bother with the story, then that's fine. But maybe you can take away a glimmer of inspiration from this while you're, setting up anything else and enjoying it while you're unboxing.
I really enjoy the part of the story. We've included a lot of things in the stories over the years for Grace and with Anne, and we bring that in with Elowyn in her travel brochure, which is more of like a runway, more of like an editorial of what Elowyn's doing. So
like a little
really
article.
Fun. Yeah, like an article.
Yeah.
So it's like a little miniature cosmopolitan magazine when you receive yours. So we want our subscriptions to feel very distinctly different, and I think we do. I think they do. But on Friday, I hadn't seen Christopher for a while, and I asked Paul where he was, and he said he was outside cutting down a branch from a tree. And so I said, well, I think I'll just go ahead and noodle on outside and see what's going on there. and you created a maypole.
It's a very sort of, jerry-rigged maypole. It's on the simpler side. I had this, grand idea for creating the pond you just heard about and all of this, sort of rigmarole for a set. And I was like, well, a maypole actually would be like a large impact, fairly easy thing to do. And I was like, well, I don't have anything quite that size. I think I need an actual stick. And so I went, surfing around outside to see if we had any sort of discarded branches or something. The thing about a maypole is that they're supposed to be, tall and slender and smooth. You wouldn't want something that's got knobs and curves and twists and turns. It should be a fairly, straight tree. And so the only thing I could find in that, scale was an old, mostly dead segment of our lilac bush outside. And so I took some garden shears and a prayer and turned a little, dead branch into a maypole.
I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really, really fun. And it's been a while since I've seen a maypole, and every time I've seen them when dolls are the ones with the ribbons, I think that is so much fun. I actually saw that long time ago. I think it was actually at Billy Harris's house where she had a big garden with the dolls going around, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
So here's another thing that Christopher was up to.
Oh, yeah.
And he was
I didn't give her
hard.
shoes. I thought I gave her shoes.
No, no one's looking at the shoes.
I've got a spare pair here.
So, I wish this was an add-on, but alas, it is not. Christopher, what is going on here?
This is a Christopherism. I was looking at, Baroque styles for hair and, sort of realizing that we don't have something quite that size. And so in my typical fashion, I have merged together two different Farrah Fawcett wigs. And one of them actually is upside down, and the other one is sort of pinned on askew. And then I took some silk ribbon and just made some teeny tiny little bows and tacked those into sort of a blue sash and, a discarded feather here and a little bouquet of flowers there, and
it's very creative.
And then you've got a little, it's more round than it should be. It should be a little bit more, more slender, but
I love it.
If you want a creative solution to play with wigs at home and something that feels a little bit more ornate and maybe time specific, then you can do that with getting a little crafty.
It's wonderful. And if you want us to try, which we can try to do this Marie Antoinette style wig.
I mean, we're currently in conversation with a number of factories about a number of wigs. So speak now or forever hold your peace.
We're working. We truly are. We truly are. But to be able to get these outfits off the ground for us was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And then we can work on accessories and things like that. And we know you'll buy them, even if they're a little bit late or delayed or whatever, because it's in your collection.
Yeah.
You can add it later. But Christopher was working on this, and I came back to the back where he was working on it, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it."
Well, thank
and then
you.
I wished we had it.
Sure.
To buy, because I know everyone else is going to love it and want it.
Well, we'll certainly see what we can do about finagling some more wigs.
We're working on accessories and things like that, but to have these wonderful outfits and the presentation and the way we do it and collaborating with our wonderful artists who work so hard, and the factories that help us add little things. I just messaged our factory today to see if we can get some more of these cameo earrings, because if you're new to us and you don't have some, then you're going to need some of those. So we're constantly working on it, but I want to give a big shout out to Paul Hoffman, who is behind the camera right now. What would we do without Paul?
Truly, we wouldn't have a business. It would be me scuttling around with a hot glue gun trying to tape envelopes and make maypoles and brush hair and whatever, take photos all at once. And I don't think that we would be able to do not only what we do, but most certainly not the volume we do.
No.
Paul is shipping out 98% of your packages every month and is a tremendous asset in the garden and upstairs. And this week he was patching a leak on the roof for the swamp cooler.
Yes, he was on the roof.
I mean, Paul does it all.
He's a jack of all trades. So he was working, and he works a lot of Saturdays. And last Saturday, I looked on the security cameras, and I noticed that he was not in here, but the alarm was still on. He was outside getting rid of trash that had blown in over there.
Yeah.
He did so many maintenance things. There is so much that needs to be done here that is outside of just what would be a singular job. and we all hold so many hats.
Yeah.
I'm always just so incredibly busy. It's hard. And so Paul, we always thank everyone, but Paul is really the backbone of getting the packages and making sure they're right. So I wanted to give a big shout out to Paul Hoffman,
Thank you, Paul.
who's behind the camera, also filming right now. So thank you very much. But I am very, I feel very peaceful about this box, don't you?
I am thrilled. I am exhilarated.
In a good way. Like I can rest happy. Yeah. I know, it's just like so good.
It's a dream come true. Truly, like it's a storybook fantastical garment come to life. You know, young child in me would just have lost his mind to see something like this, and to be able to make it and give that excitement to you is my greatest joy.
Now, speaking of greatest joys and collector's gonna collect, we're actually getting a little makeup money saving bag type that says collector's gonna collect, because our friend Andrea requested it, and I thought that was a good idea, right?
Cute.
Collector's gonna collect.
Great thing for earrings or
doll money.
shoes.
Yeah, we're working on those. But we have another dress for you.
Oh yeah, we do have another dress for you.
We have another dress.
So
this is a special add-on dress that will be available in the boutique.
Yep.
We'll let Christopher.
This is a dress that, don't look too close at the hair, she fell over earlier. This is something that I really wanted, again, to offer as an add-on in the boutique, that if you are a, really staunch fan of modern haute couture, fashion that is, today, and it's runway, and it feels contemporary and feminine, and for Grace, if you're thinking of Grace as a more modern entity, I wanted something in the boutique that would complement what we did in the box, but feel sort of like its own thing. So you've got a really beautiful sort of mint jacquard, gorgeous floral moment, with a ruffle at the bottom that goes floor length. It's just
lined.
Yeah, it's a lined, strapless, gorgeous little gala dress. I love this. So in the story, Grace is planning to go to this festival, and there's a dance in the evening, and she's thinking about like, what do I have to wear, and remembers that this is sort of in the back of her closet, and then she's attending the event and is transported into this. So you can sort of play with both if you'd like. This is not necessarily, you don't need this to complete the box, but it does sort of play into it. And I love the fabric. It's actually got a really nice structure. So in the listing photos, you can see that I staged it a number of ways, but a lot of it was sort of like upswept or like, caught in her hand or up to the side. And you can almost pose the fabric of the dress. It's really lovely. You've got snaps at the back and a really gorgeous palette of sort of crimson and persimmon and peach and sage and emerald. It's lovely. And you can wear any pair of shoes with this that you want to. You can wear any earring that you want to. It's of course lovely with a little updo and a long, earring to accentuate the neckline, but do with that, accessorize this as you will. This is available for all of your dolly needs in the Grace Boutique.
I was thrilled with this one.
Yeah.
We sent our inspiration for this, and we did make one edit on the fit up here.
Yep, we had to have it tailored once or twice, but they did a great job.
To get it right, but oh my goodness, I think it's fabulous. It's lined, the structure's beautiful. They did, it fits her bosom so well.
Yeah.
As far as strapless, one of my pet peeves in people clothing and doll clothing on a strapless is when it doesn't have enough structure and it falls down and you have to keep hiking it up. There's none of that with this.
Yeah, it just sits
fabulous.
very well. Yeah.
It's well constructed, well made. So I'm happy with this one. And last month we had so much fun with our coat of many colors.
Oh my gosh, everyone loved that one.
I know, wasn't that a fun one?
So now you have another sort of bright colored floral.
Very fashion forward.
Springtime. I agree. It's contemporary in a way that doesn't feel like risky,
Right.
Sometimes modern fashion is not something that appeals to everybody,
right.
But this I think is really classic.
That's why Grace is so popular, is because she is very, very, very classic. She has her Trash Dorothy moments, but those are very few and far between.
Sure.
Most of the time, it's pretty regal, pretty classy.
That's an intervention due to me. I'll come in and tack 3 wigs onto anybody, and no one is safe, including Grace.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what? It did work. I think Trash Dorothy's actually still
she's up there somewhere.
Yeah, and we love that for her, because we all have our Trash Dorothy moments. It's fun. It's fun to just get your wiggles out once in a while. But we're having a blast, and we want to thank you so much, and to everybody involved with the box and everything that we do to get this out and going. We hope you're just absolutely thrilled. If you'd like to join the Grace subscription, we still have half of our season left, and there
Yeah.
are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful moments to come, moments that are going to surprise you and delight you.
Yeah.
We have some surprises,
That's true.
even to
We've-
people who were here.
Yeah, we've been holding some of our cards close. So
You don't always show your whole hand.
yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
We got it. We have some fastballs. So if you would like to join, it's only $80 a month.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. This would be a $150 outfit anywhere else.
Every time I describe what it is that I do for work to somebody, they're like, how do you get away with that? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, that's incredible. But secondly, like, what a value. And like, it's true. It's a huge value. So
It is. It's
don't
a
miss
huge
out
value.
on this breathtaking 4-piece garment. I mean, it's just,
And it's nice because we're thinking about a lot of things. I'm thinking about so many things all of the time. So to have like an auto delivery or an auto subscription is
Yeah.
just so, it takes the pressure off of the decision making.
Sure.
The decision's made. Christopher and Rachel made it for you.
yeah. Right?
And then to just have your auto delivery, it's just like, oh, I get my package this week. And you didn't have to do anything.
And sometimes that's such a great sense of comfort too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been a hard week and you like get to look forward to knowing that your package is on its way. I think that's also so much of the appeal for collecting and online shopping. And like we have checked both of those boxes for you,
Right.
and you just get to enjoy the very best part, which is the garment and the dressing and the fun.
And the fun and the community and being tied to something. So we are absolutely continuing our subscriptions. They are going to take different ways of life. They're going to evolve, and they're going to change, and they're going to do different things. But we have more wonderful things coming for all of our dolls, and special releases for the grandmothers, and all
Yeah.
kinds of fun things in the works. Oh, I'm so excited.
I know. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be good. So thank you so much to everybody. Thank you, Christopher, for this wonderful film set and everything that you did. And,
Sure.
And all of our wonderful customers, we love you so much. Thanks for tuning into this one. We'll see you on the next
Bye.
one. Bye.